Good morning, guys. Today we are going to be looking at solving systems of linear equations, so those lines, by substitution. And big point here is we're looking for the point where they cross, okay? And lines can only cross, straight lines can only cross once, so no more than one answer. This is my favorite method that we're going to go over because it always works and it takes out that hassle of trying to figure out how long I need to make my table, how big do I need to make my graph, all that tedious work that you guys have been moaning and groaning about. This takes it all out. But on the other side, you do have to have a good set of algebra skills. There's only 3 steps involved, okay? Solve one of them for x or y, substitute that into that other equation, and then solve for the remaining variable. So let's just go ahead and get started with 4 examples. This first example, I just want you to pay attention. Don't write this one down. I don't want to see this one in your notes. I don't want to see this one in your notes. I just want you paying attention. Okay, so step 1, get the variable by itself, either x or y. Remember, we don't care about which one, just one of those. Luckily, we already have one that says y equals. Perfect. Now we're going to take this y equals and we're going to plug it into that second equation. So put it into our second equation. We would want to see only one variable. So here's our second equation, and we're plugging in this 2x minus 4 into that second equation. Now we are going to go through the order of operation backwards. PC, sad me, parentheses, combine like terms, undo addition, subtraction, division, and we get x by itself. Done with step 2. Step 3, we're going to plug that back in, what x is, and we're going to solve for y because we know what x is now. Now we plug it into both equations. Here's our first equation, we got 6, and our second equation, we also got that to work. Well, let's go ahead and get started on the examples we're going to write down. All right. Example 1, let me go ahead and move my little cursor out of the way. Step 1, get x or y by itself. Done! Look, we do have x and y by itself already. So let's pick the easiest equation. The y equals 5x is our easiest, and we're going to plug this one in to the y equals 2x plus 3. So where it says y equals, we're going to substitute that in for y. 5, now we're in step 2, x equals 2x plus 3. So all of this is written the same here, except instead of saying y, we're saying 5x. All right, PC, sad me, parentheses, no. Like terms, yes. Got to take away 2x, got to take away 2x. We don't want to take away 5 because we want x's all on one side, constants all on the other. Now we'll have 3 equals 5 minus 2, 3x. All right, undo division, undo with division, not undo division. And we have x equals 1. Step 2, done. Let's go to step 3. Plug in to both equations is what step 3 is. Our first equation is y equals 2x plus 3. Our second equation is y equals 5x. What are we plugging in, you might be asking? We're plugging what we found for x. So, 2 times 1 plus 3, and then 5 times 1. If we did everything right in step 2, then we will get the same answer here. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 3 is 5, and 5 times 1 is 5. Did we get the same thing? Yes, we did. And the answer is 1 for x and 5 for y. Right down here is where we found for y. All right, example 2. Step 1, get one of them to say x or y equals. Done. I already got one that says x or y equals. So y equals 1/2 x minus 5. Our second equation, we are going to plug in what y is, because we have y equals 4y. So we're going to plug this in. Instead of saying y, everything else is going to stay the same, except instead of saying 2y, we're going to say 2 parentheses 1/2 x minus 5. We're going to say 1/2 x minus 5 now. This is when you're going to have parentheses, when it's this 2 in front of that y, or 2 in front of a variable you're plugging in. So undo parentheses with distribution. 2 times 1/2 is 1. So we have 4x plus x, 2 times distribution, -5 is -10. Combine your like terms. Here's our like terms. 5x minus 10 equals 0. Add 10. Add 10. And right here where this has said 0 this whole time, we don't really care that it says 0. We just care what happens in the end. 5x equals 10. Divide by 5. Divide by 5. X equals 5. What did we solve for in our order pairs? We solved for x, so x is 5. Now we have to solve for y. By plugging that back into both of our equations, here's our first one, and here's our second one. Y equals 1/2 x minus 5. We're plugging in x because that's what we solved for. 4 times 5 plus 2y equals 0. And this one's going to say y equals 1/2 times 5 minus 5. All right, I need some more space. Sorry. So 4 times 5 is 20 plus 2y equals 0. Now we're going to take away 20. Take away 20. And we get 2y equals -20. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. Y equals -10. All right, if we did everything right, this one's going to also yield -10. So half of 5 is going to be 2.5 minus 5. Uh-oh, something happened. Let me go check that I wrote this down right. It did. So I have an error somewhere. Let me go ahead and pause my video and see where my error is. Here's my mistake. 10 divided by 5 isn't 5, it's 2. Wah, wah. So let's go back and look at everything using 2. That wasn't that big of a deal, and it happens to all of us. We all make that little tiny mistake right there. So let's go ahead and plug in 2. So our first equation is 4x plus 2y equals 0. Now we're going to plug in 2 for x. 4 times 2 plus 2y equals 0. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2y equals 0. Take away 8, take away 8. 2y equals -8, and then y equals -4. All right, now we should be getting the right thing. So 1/2 times 2 is 1. 1 minus 4 is -4. There we go. All right, -4. This happens to everybody I know. Okay, we did everything right here. We substituted right, but then we lost the proper numbers. So make sure you're checking your work, going at your own pace. Don't go as quick as I am going if you're going to lose track of it. All right, let's go to our next one, problem number 3. Which equation are we going to use? Don't be biased. We don't want just y equals. We are okay with x equals 5y plus 3. Now we're going to plug that into 2x plus 4y equals -1. Here we go. Start of step 2. What are we plugging in? X, because we know what x is. So 2 times 5y plus 3. This is when we're going to use parentheses because there's a 2 in front of that variable. Plus 4y equals -1. PC said me, parentheses, 10y plus 6 plus 4y equals -1. At this point, only want one variable Otherwise, we're not doing substitution and we're good. Combine your like terms. 14y plus 6 equals negative 1. Take away 6. Take away 6. Okay. 14y equals negative 7. Divide by 14. Divide by 14. Y equals negative 7/14, which is equal to negative 1/2. Alright, now we're ready to plug in. I know for sure none of you would solve this with a negative 1/2. You'd hate it. So it's easier to do the substitution. So we found y was negative 1/2 in our ordered pair. Now we need to solve for x. X is 5 times negative 1/2 plus 3, grabbing from our equations, and 2x plus 4 times negative 1/2 equals negative 1. 5 times negative half is negative 2.5, plus 3 is 1.5. No, not 1.5, it's just 0.5. Rewind, just 0.5. There we go. Now, 2x plus negative 2 equals negative 1. Add 2. Add 2. 2x equals 1. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. X equals 1/2. Same thing as 0.5. We're good. We got the same thing. 0.5. 0.5, negative 0.5. Done. Alright, go ahead and try this on your own problem. When you're ready to check your answers, please press resume. I'll be here waiting. Alright guys, thanks for checking your answers. For this one, your step 1 was to pick either one of these. These are both okay to pick. Then you should have set them equal to each other. Okay, combined your like terms. I like keeping my variable positive, so I'm going to work with this one. You had options for that. Okay, 1/2 is 1 and 1/4 x. Take away 3, take away 3. I'm going to rewind. It's nicer if I keep this as a whole fraction. So this is going to say 1/2 plus 3/4, which is equal to 2/4 plus 3/4, which is 5/4. That's better. 5/4 x equals negative 5. Multiply by 4/5. Multiply by 4/5. And x equals negative 4. Okay, step 2 done. Step 3, plug in for x over here. So y equals 1/2 times negative 4 plus 3. Y equals negative 3/4 times negative 4 minus 2. What's half of negative 4? Negative 2 plus 3, 1. Okay, these two cancel out. Negative 3 minus 2. Oh, something happened. Oh, this is positive 3. Negative times negative is positive. Equals 1. 1, 1. Okay. Negative 4 is x and 1 is y. Go ahead and answer this essential question. Your checkpoint is up and running. I hope you guys are having a good day. See you later.